Hello? Hi guys, welcome back to BS with Bella, and I'm so excited to kick off the 2026 new branding, new logo, new equipment. Like, I have a handheld mic. Like, if you asked me maybe 2 years ago, I would have not spent the money. I bought a portable recorder. Everything is a little more professional, but welcome back. I feel like when I started this channel, I was a senior in college, not knowing what I wanted to do, what I was going to do after school, kind of just like figuring out my career. And like, I knew that I wanted to end up in Atlanta, but I didn't know what I really wanted to do. And so you saw the blonde me, you saw my hair turning a little brown. And so I'm really excited just to do things really cool and different in 2026, opening up more about me, being authentic, and just being super transparent. And I know I'm not the only girl in their 20s trying to figure like life out and bills and money, and it's a lot. So I'm really excited to be this new person in 2026. Even though we're going to do some interviews with some people and definitely talk to different people of their careers and different stages of life, but I also want to be authentic on my end. So where do I begin? I mean, when I was a senior, I was obviously drinking, figuring out my life, pretty heavy at the time. I knew I wanted to be in Atlanta, and I was like very much like, senior year, I kind of was very like lost a little bit. I was bartending. I wasn't really sleeping. I was really focused on like getting a job and not enjoying my senior year, which is really kind of crazy because you would think that a senior would like party, their butt off, but like that was not what I was doing. I was very much really focused on my career because I'm literally insane. And so I was really like focused on it, then like enjoying the moment. And like, I do like regret that. And I do tell like my interns or like people I know that like, I wish I slowed down a little bit because I was so focused on getting a career after college and paying bills and was always so worried. And it ended up like, my hair's in my face, like working in my favor. Then just, I spent more time stressing about it. My friend Emma was always like in my corner about it and would listen to my rants. And she was like, it will always work out for you, Bill. Like, it will always work out. And that is something I'm currently living by too. Like, I went through so much. I moved to Atlanta like on a whim by myself, was still trying to figure out life. I packed my college car up and drove, how many miles, 5 hours to the city of Atlanta. And me and my boyfriend moved in together, and that was like an adjustment period because we moved in together, but we were still kind of young. And obviously like when you first moved in with your boyfriend, it's like all glamorous, but like, there was talks about like what our future is. Are we going to stay here? And obviously our first apartment, we lived with our roommates. So like that was really different. And being in a big city like Atlanta, I was like adjusting to like making adult friends. Like, I didn't know what Bumble was. And that was such an adjustment period because let me tell you, when you graduate college, you have like the same friends, you have a group of people, but when you're an adult, you need to maintain adult relationships. And so it was super different, maintaining those and doing long distance with my friends and creating like different relationships with different types of people. I will say Bumble like works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. It kind of just depends on what you put in it is kind of what you get out of it. And so I was definitely like trying to figure that out and meeting new girls and going on dinner dates. And like, I'm not someone that's not afraid to put themselves out there, but definitely like I can come off like a little like hot, like, strong compared to like some people. So, I met a few people were my cup of tea, and like, that's okay. And I definitely think no one talks about the struggle of making friends post-grad. It's super different. And, it was such an adjustment period for me. I was so worried I wasn't gonna have friends. I felt like I was really lonely. And then probably by like October, I started gaining like some friendships. And, I still talk to my Atlanta girls. I'm actually going to Atlanta. By the time this airs, this will already pass, but I'm actually flying to Atlanta tomorrow because I took up my Invisalign treatment. And so I'm going to see my Atlanta friends, which I'm like really, really excited about. But at the time, like, I had no friends, and I ended up going out with an intern named Gabby, who we're like super close with like till this day. And she like showed me Atlanta, different parts of it than just like my boyfriend and his work friends. Like I didn't want to be the girlfriend that tagged along and did different things. And so she like opened my eyes to the city of Atlanta. And then once I kind of got the ball rolling on where to go, where to eat, where to look at, I was able to like take girls out. And so that's like kind of how I met my friend Lauren, and me and Lauren honestly became inseparable. We literally started talking, and the first time we talked to each other, we were just like dumping our emotions on each other. And I'm so grateful for her because she's such like a big sister to me, and she took me like under her wing in Atlanta because she was a little older than me. She like knew, and she's been there for so long, so she like knew where to go. She was like, you want to go out with me? And she was just so open, and she was like a breath of fresh air for me. So I like really appreciate Lauren, and she's definitely someone I like love so much. And she really like taught me so much in my 20s. And soon the ball rolled. Then I met a girl named Nicole, and me and Nicole, I'm actually staying with Nicole this weekend too. And so Nicole opened my eyes up to my friend Mallory, and like us three are just super close. And Lauren's not really close with like Nicole and Mallory per se, but like I'm very close with them. And then my work friends, I ended up being friends with a girl named Wiley, and me and her became close. And then my boss and I became close on a deeper level, and which I'll get into my work in a second. And so my 20s was like all about figuring out friendships, and I having to put the effort to travel to go see my long distance college friends and stay in touch, and losing people in the process. And also like, home friends were like a little different for me when I went to college. I didn't go home as often. So like there was definitely a disconnect on friendships there. And, unfortunately, like when you grow, your home friends don't grow with you, and that's okay. And there's some friendships I will say that stuck with me and put the effort in, and some didn't. And so that's okay too. Like you do outgrow your hometown, and you do grow out of your hometown friends. And I think people don't talk about that too. Like when you go home, it's okay to only have a few friends, and that's okay. Like I will say, like I became so close with like only a few girls, and like people who put the time in to actually see me than like seeing me in a big group. And seeing in a big group is great, but like people who actually like care about your life and wanting to do things privately or putting the effort behind closed doors, then it's different. Like it's really different. And definitely I will say like those friendships have stuck with me. But like, people come in and out of your lives, and I think people are really like hyper focused on the fact of like you're supposed to be friends with your hometown friends. And my boyfriend is super like that. Like he has such a good group of hometown friends that just stuck together, and that's like super rare. And so in your 20s you're going to like adjust to friends. People are going to come and go, and like that's totally okay. And there's no like, I heard like the best saying in the world was, I don't wish you any ill, harm, or anything. I just don't want to sit at the same table as you. And I think that like sat with me when I was scrolling on TikTok, because it's like, you don't wish anything harmful. You don't wish anything bad. You don't wish like they were your friends in the moment, but like at the end of the day, it's like you don't wish to sit at their table anymore. And like, that's okay too. Like you rather sit at a table that's just better for you. And like my college friends and I are just so inseparable that it's like opened up a door for me, that different relationships in my life. And like you only get a few like hometown friends that like actually stick through you. And like sometimes you didn't go to the same school as them, or sometimes you weren't in the same friend group, or some you were. And it's definitely changing. And especially being almost 25, it's definitely like an eye opener. Post grad, I had like a little hard time with that, and I was like trying to definitely figure out myself, my relationship out. And like every relationship is not perfect. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 5 years, and I'll say like we've grown together, adjusting to new friends, adjusting to a new city. And once I graduated, I accepted a job with 680 The Fan in Atlanta, which was the Braves radio station. But I was able to cover like really cool sports like Georgia Tech, all Georgia Tech athletics, the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks here and there. It was such a cool experience, and it put me in the professional space where I learned that I was like the youngest one in the room. And it just goes to show, if you put in the hard work, you'll be in those rooms. And I really loved working in sports, but recently for me, it's kind of like changed. And obviously, like when I just graduated out of college, that's like all I wanted to do. Social media, be on air, like that was like everything I wanted to do. And so I, created so many content series and grew my social media skills because I knew Atlanta was never going to be my long-term investment in myself. I would say that me and Ryan really came to the conclusion that Atlanta's a starter city for us. And so, that was really hard because you became close with like so many people like Nicole, Mallory, Wiley, Gabby, and Lauren, like these people, and you feel a little upset leaving. And so I will say like a year and a half into the job, we moved to apartments in Atlanta where we left, we were living with the roommates, so we had to like leave, and doing the high rise and living that life. And I just think something was still missing for me. So I was really excited to, sit down with Ryan and discuss like what our goals were, because as a couple, I think when you are doing an adjustment period in your careers and in life, you need to have these hard conversations of, hey, what do you want to do in 10 years? Or, hey, what do you want to do in 5 years? What is your accomplishment? What do you want to do? And so, we really had to sit down with each other and be like, hey, like, where do we want to live? And so I was really unhappy with my work because I became super close to my boss and she was super unhappy too. And she left. And so that really like sucked for me because sports is such like a boys club that her leaving really hurt because it was like a little more different at work for me. And she was like a big sister. She was like my mentor. She was my boss. She always looked after me. And her leaving like hurt me a little bit. Not like her leaving hurt my feelings. It just hurt me a little bit because I felt like she took me under her wing and it was like me and Amanda. And Wiley was there too, but Wiley was in school. So when Wiley was coming, it'd always be like me and her too. But once Amanda left and I got a new boss, it was different. He was married, had kids. We had some things in common, not really. And so Wiley was kind of like my side partner at 680, and I was super happy, but then I was like, I want more. Like, I want more in my career. I don't want to stay here for 2 years. I don't want to stay here for 3 years. And unfortunately, there was no money on where I was. And so there was no professional growth for me anymore. And so I had to do what was best for me. So I was looking for jobs over and over and over again. And then I started to become like mentally upset, and it really took a toll on my body. And that is something no one talks about too. Is like everyone loves to judge people on like if they got fat after college. Oh my God, this girl got so fat. Or, oh my God, this girl's on Ozempic. Or, oh my God, this girl's on this. Like I really struggled. I was working out. I was trying to figure out how to eat healthy and balance a 9 to 5. I was also working at a gym for extra money to get a free gym membership. And, like I was doing whatever I could. And I felt like I was like treading water more than swimming in the ocean, like swimming in this big pond or whatever. And so, after when I was in Atlanta, I was like, Ryan, I want to move to Florida. It's always a place I wanted to live. It was such a dream of mine. And so I said to my friends, actually I said during Christmas, I cried on my couch to my parents and was like, I just want to move to Florida. That's my goal. That is my goal for 2025. This was 2024 going to 20. My goal is to move to Florida. And my mom's like, you can do it. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. And I did. I ended up meeting someone on LinkedIn who gave me a job, and I took it. It wasn't a lot of relocation money. It was more salary, and I didn't care. Me and Ryan sat down and we're like, do you want to take this? And at this point, Ryan was like working for the Hawks, and then he stopped and then got a new job, and he was working remote, and that took a toll on him a little bit too, because like being remote, it's like great and all, but then after a while it's like too much because you just want to, and he's still remote, but we'll get into that. And so he was like, yeah, let's just do it. None of our friends were still there. Like I became really good friends from his work named Catherine, and she integrated in my group, and I love Catherine. She's such like a sunshine girl, but she also got a new job and then left shortly when I was there. So, all these people were leaving, and all these people wanted to eventually leave Atlanta too. So I just felt like everyone was in transition mode. And so I was like, wow, this sucks. I'm going to be leaving some of my friends, but they want to leave Atlanta, and they're unhappy and some people want to stay here. And I felt really personal. Like I felt like, I finally got a footing with my friends, but I don't like my job and I don't like this city. And so, I took the job that was offered to me at the time and we moved down here literally on a whim. We found Delray Beach from TikTok. I hate to be like, oh, TikTok influencer, but yeah, I found Delray Beach through TikTok. And that's kind of how we ended up in Delray. Once we moved to Delray, Ryan came down here. Before I took the job, I said yes to a Nashville trip. Gave my money to my friend Lauren and her 2 friends came with us. And that was already set in stone. So Ryan, who the gem that he is, was like, I will fly to Delray Beach with my mom and I will go with the real estate agent and I will go find a place to live. And I just honestly, that was like the sweetest thing that he did for me, I will admit, because like he knew how important this was to me and he really just took it and ran with it. Once he found a place, he was calling me in Nashville. We were going back and forth and we signed for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And it ended up being cheaper than what we were paying in Atlanta, which is kind of crazy, but it goes to show, the different states and different cities and different whatever. And so we moved here on a whim and I loved it. I literally was driving around. I've never been so happy. I was, when my mom picked me up when I picked my mom up for the airport, she's like, you seem so excited. And I go, because of just, this is always where I wanted to live. Maybe not like Delray necessarily, but it was still, Florida was like still a place I wanted to live. Like, I got here. I felt like I did something for myself. And now I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my mental state back. I'm going to get my body back. I'm going to do what I needed to do. And the first month here was great. The job I had was great at the time. And I was living my best life between August and October. And I was making friends. I started making friends and I, was lucky to have a girl down here named Jamie who moved here and we were able to like be friends. And then I met Emily and then I met G and then I met, I have a friend named G at college and now I have another friend named G. And I was able to meet these girls. And then I had my 2 sorority girls in my family that were here coincidentally, which I didn't know who they lived here either. And that was just, I started like feeling like myself again and doing the little things, going to the beach, exploring. And obviously Florida's super hot in August and that's when we moved. And it was awesome. It was something I've always wanted. But something was still missing for me. And when I mean that, I feel like for my body, I signed up for a workout class, signed up for F45, which has become my safe space. The people who run the F45 in Delray, her name's Mindy. She literally made me feel safe, which is like a little weird. I know it's kind of like weird to say, but like she made me feel safe in the sense of she knew I wanted to change for my body and she told me how to do it. And so, I did all the different workout classes. She would ask me how I felt after. We did an in-body scan. And, that's something I always did. I've always struggled with my body and I'll be like pretty open about it. Like I've always struggled with my body and I never had like any eating disorders or anything else, but I would say it like took a mental toll. I've always thought I was big in something or fat or too skinny or whatever. And I feel like college and drinking and my body just like messed me up, like my mental, and then graduating and trying to balance that. And so I made the decision, people can clip this and send it to whoever they want to gossip. I made the decision in November to go on Ozempic. And when I mean Ozempic, I mean trizepatide. And when I mean by trizepatide, I mean like a Zepbound. If you don't know what any of that is, it is the shot to lose weight. Now, it is such a negative thing to people, and I don't know why, because I think people are so easy to judge people who have their own insecurities on other people who are trying to do things. And so, with that being said, is that during November, I talked to my friend Jamie, and she knew of some clinics down here and she steered me in the right directions. I got the blood tests, I got the things. I had high cortisol, but then I didn't. Then I had something higher and I didn't. And I was like, I'm losing weight and then gaining it. I'm not eating bad. What am I doing? Something's wrong with me. And I always just felt that. And so I don't want to get emotional on here, so I'm not doing that. But so I decided to make the decision to go on a weight loss shot, and I don't regret it. And, I'm pretty open about it. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not someone that's going to, people swipe up and say, oh my God, like, you lost 45 pounds. You look great. Like, how'd you do it? I won't be like, I'm sitting here going to Matt Pilates and weighing my food every single day. That's not me. I'm not someone that's fake like that. And I'm not saying that no one has to tell people that they're on Ozempic or Zepbound, whatever the hell you're on. Like, they don't need to tell people. Like, I'm just very different. If you want to be quiet to yourself, go ahead. But for me, I'm not a fake person. I'm not phony. And I feel like that's really phony of someone to promote a fake lifestyle when you're not being transparent with some people. But again, that's just my opinion, but that you could still do it that way. And so I'm really honest. I'm not posting it like, oh my God, like on my TikTok being like, here are my shots. But this does confirm the rumors are true. I am on a weight loss shot. And I fucking love it. I have never felt so great. My confidence level is gone through the roof. I feel great about my body. My friends down here are so freaking supportive of it. My college friends are so supportive of it. My Atlanta friends are so supportive of it. And some of my hometown friends are really supportive of it. But I didn't go and text everyone, but they asked me and I'm honest. And so I definitely didn't have any experiences or any nausea or any of that. I did start slow. So I went to a clinic, I showed them my labs, and I go and I meet a doctor. So this isn't something I order online or anything like that. So I went to a clinic and I met with them and I told them my problems and everything. And she's like, okay, we're going to start you at 2.5 milligrams, which I think is 10 units, but I can't really do math. We're going to start you at those milligrams and then we'll move you up. And I was like, okay, cool. So the first month, I felt less hungry. Like, the food noise canceled out immediately for me. It was very easy for me to transition to that shot. I'm not someone that loves needles. I'm like legit a scaredy cat. So the fact that I literally did do this is just beyond, because I used to kick the doctor, and my mother would tell you I kicked the doctor. And so I literally love it. So I went from 2.5 the first month, from November to December. And then December, I was still on 2.5. But then when I came back kind of right before New Year's Eve, I went from 5.0. So that's 34 units maybe. And so I'm on that now. I've lost 13 pounds and I love it. I mean, it makes me feel full. You are supposed to be on a diet with it. So there's different ways that people do it, obviously, is that a lot of people will take this and they don't work out on it. They eat the way they eat on it. You'll still lose weight, but once you get off the shot or microdose, your body's going to be in shock because you don't do the things while you're on the shot. And so I still work out. I work out 6 to 7 days a week, sometimes 5 and sometimes 4. And that was also a really big mental thing for me, is that I would feel guilty not going to the gym. I would freak out. I would cry. I'd be like, oh my God, is my body okay? Am I going to lose weight? And so this is leveled out my anxiety, and this is also leveled out my head. It's done so much for me. No bloating, no water tension, food noises a lot less. I'm eating the right amount of food I'm supposed to eat. I'm eating proteins. I honestly will be on the shot forever. I think even after I get pregnant, I'm going back on it. I love it. I don't care what anyone says. If you don't like the shot, then just because of your experience, I totally understand. It's going to be something that you have to work towards. Some people get up to 7.5 milligrams and then they have to hit 10, and then their microdose is 7.5. But for me, my microdose will go back to 2.5. And honestly, the price point's really different. I go to a clinic in Florida, so it's really different. It depends on where you get it, where you go, so on and so forth. I definitely recommend it. And I am an open book if anyone would like to talk about it, because I'm not going to sit here and lie my full truth. And so right now I'm in a good mind space. I'm on the shot. I have a great boyfriend. My relationship is super good, and I'm in a place I love. I love my home. Eventually, me and Ryan would love to buy a house and get life going. And so now that my body and mind are great, my job was a problem for me. I'm not going to get into details about it because they have social medias, and if they decide to watch this one day, or people of the organization. So wasn't a fit for me. That's okay. Grateful I got here because of it. So I got a new job in PR, which I'm really excited for. It's an all-woman agency. I'm working with some celebrities on their charity events, med spas, things like that, which I'm super excited about. And I'm doing social media content creating for them. And so I'm so excited for this chapter. And honestly, I would love to do like a Q&A video. I will have some special guests on here. I'm chill. I really want to find out like how to make my Zooms a lot better, because like I was watching all the videos and was like, oh, those were horrible. So I would love to do like a split screen. I got to figure that out. But until then, it's going to be me on my bed. And that's something about me is I love getting dressed up. I love putting on an outfit, but my true comfortability is in my bed, in cozy clothes, talking and being myself. So I'm super excited for BS with Bella to be in her different era. I keep saying error, but it's era. I just can't wait for BS with Bella to be in her different era and thrive. I'm so excited. I've started this for almost like a year and a half, close to 2 years ago. And I'm so excited to show you guys this channel. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm so excited to get the ball rolling on this. So tune in, subscribe, follow my socials. And yeah, I am so excited to speak to you guys and show you guys my true transparency life and be that honest book about a girl in her 20s just trying to figure it out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.